Everyone, thank you for joining us. You see, I have a couple of new faces with me today. Well, not so much new, but it's been a few weeks since we've at least talked to Misty and Sherry. It's good to have you back. I am Sam with NATP. These lovely ladies with me are also with NATP, and we are here today to discuss a tech season updates. So our fall update event, and a little bit of what can attendees expect, why this is important, and Sherry and Misty, you two were really instrumental in developing the curriculum. So I wanted to have you two specifically with me today to talk about what is going to be covered, why it's important, um, all of those good things. But first, before we get started, let's have you tell us a little bit about yourselves. Misty, do you want to start? Tell us what you do with NATP, a little bit about your background, and anything else you'd like to share.
Sure. Thanks, Sam. My name is Misty Erickson, and I've been with NATP for a little over 6 years. So I work on the content team, and I used to be started doing research. So kind of my role has changed over the years. Prior to working at NATP, for those of you who joined us last time, you already know I used to work for the state of Minnesota as an auditor, individual income tax auditor, and I also prepare taxes on the side part time during tax season for a local firm. So um, taxes is kind of my thing.
Wonderful. I'm so sorry.
Sherry?
I guess I'll go next. And Sam, I love hearing a dog bark because at my end of the world, you're going to hear a cat meow if he wakes up from his nap, which he's snoozing right next to me. Anyway, my name is Sherry France. I've been with NATP for a little over 10 years now. I, as Misty, do taxes during the off season. Absolutely love it. I'm not quite as devoted as she is because I try to fill in with other things too. And prior to working with NATP, I was in private industry for quite a while and absolutely loved doing that. I was in research for a while. So, any of you members out there, if you ever called, I was the one that answered all the bookkeeping questions, all the accounting questions. We always talked debits and credits when I was on the phone if necessary. But other than that, I just love working at NATP. And yes, I'm in the content department with Misty right now. And it's all very awesome to work on.
Mhm.
Wonderful. Thank you for taking over, Sherry. We did have a little mishap, joys of working from home. Again, thank you both for being here with me. I really appreciate it today. I know everyone is excited to hear from you. Um, let's just dive right in. And so we're talking about tax season updates. These are our in-person events designed to update tax preparers to be ready to prepare for the next tax season. So in this case, we're talking 2023 for 2022 returns. Um, when were topics decided, and can you walk me through a little bit of that process? There this year there are different tracks, I know, but just give us a little bit of background.
Well, I'll jump in and handle this one if you don't mind, Misty. In normal years, I want to say normal years and stress that pretty much, we actually start now during the fall. Well, the current tax season update is going on. And that's very helpful because we can get a good head start on it. However, there have been a few years in the past, a few changes, a few tax laws coming out at the last minute, things we knew about. We've been delayed in the process. You want to get as most recent and current information as available, and just to really try to avoid those really excessive time consuming rewrites. So we generally start in fall, but due to any changes going on up in Washington, we may have to be delayed a little bit. But one thing, when we do pick our topics, we like to think of our members. Okay, it's like keeping your audience in mind. Our members, you guys out there listening, we find that the size of your offices tend to be maybe just single persons, two, three, four, five at the most. Okay, not a lot of big offices. So we tend to keep our topics, or try to keep them to topics that you would be involved in on a regular basis almost during tax season and on a day-to-day basis. We don't like to get those obscure, like once in a blue moon kind of things going on, because that's, dare I say, a waste of our time, but that's not an efficient use of our time. Okay. Now, one thing I want to mention here is, any of you listening out there, we take audience participation topics. If you know that there's a topic you want to learn more about, let Sam know. Call into NATP, say, hey, can you think about putting this in your tax season update next year? We also look at our top research questions for the year. What are y'all calling in about? What are you asking us questions about? And also our instructors, they like to give us our, like input on their 2 cents worth. And we appreciate all that input because we hope we can create a better product with all of that input. Misty, do you have any other thoughts on that?
Well, and on top of that, if you've ever attended our webinars or have contacted our research department, those are other sources. So, at the end of a webinar or any online education where it says what other topics, and that's typically a polling question, we look at that feedback as well and go, okay, what is going on? What seems to be I don't know, you almost want to say the struggle for the year, whether it be new law or just a foundational item where now it's more important. It's one of the items that I can think of is the inclusion of Form 7203 last year. Okay, now basis is really important. You need those good foundational skills to be able to really help your clients out. And obviously, with our research department, we have a way of recording all of those questions. So you start to see a certain flavor depending on what's going on during the year, or even what's going to drive economically as well. What's the current state? What are things you're most likely to see in the next year?
Nice. So it's safe to say there's a lot of thought that goes into this. It's not just willy-nilly, oh, this sounds like it'd be a good topic. You guys really do your research and listen to what our members are saying and what they need. As far
We
as
try to. There
topics.
might be a little willy-nilly there once in a while, but we try to keep that at a
It's at
total
least
minimum.
interesting. So let's talk a little bit about specifics this year for topics and courses. What can you tell us if someone's attending? What can they expect to learn about? Whoever.
So and I can take that one, and Sherry, feel free to chime in as well. When we're looking at new topics, obviously, as we all know, lately it seems like tax law just gets passed whenever. So we had the Inflation Reduction Act that just came out. So we're making sure to include some of those provisions. Now, granted, as we all know, you're going to see guidance that comes out as we're holding these live events. But with that said, you can always see the Are You Ready webinar that'll kind of cover some of those things. So not only do you get the tax season updates, but you kind of get this catch-all of what else happened after the fact, after you attended. So some of the things that we're going to talk about are the Affordable Care Act subsidies and how that has changed. We've also seen a lot, I know it's been in the news, all the different energy credits. So we're going to cover the clean energy and efficiency incentive for individuals, which think of your home improvements, installing those solar panels or installing doors, windows, the increase in the credit, which is phenomenal. So we saw this $500 lifetime limit. Hey, guess what? That's out the door. So there's definite incentives that you're going to see through that. We're also going to talk about the changes to the vehicle credits. So in that case, if you have a client who's looking to buy an energy efficient vehicle, think battery powered, that has changed. And that's actually changed quite a bit. You're going to want to know those parameters because it's not as cut and dry as the old credit was. And I say that in quotes. And then also we're going to look at SALT limitations. And hey, by the way, this kind of slipped under the radar in my opinion. They're now extending it to 2026. So that was added as part of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. 2025 was kind of that end date. Oh, nope, now we're going to see another one. And on top of that, we're actually going to go into some of the states that have, you can say it's a workaround, and how they do it with pass-through entities. So we'll give you some tips on that too, because when we focus on state, this is something that is out there, and a lot of states are actually opting into this option. So Sherry, anything else?
Nothing really, other than we are keeping our ears open on the latest and greatest about Secure 2.0. that could be one of
Yep.
those last minute ads on, and so that's just one of the things we wait to find out about.
And
No,
it did pop. Oh, sorry, Sam. I'm
no,
like, and
go
to
ahead.
say that that topic popped up again yesterday. So it just seems to be
Yes.
like if you're following the news, it's a, oh, there's this change and then silence. And then now it comes up again. So we'll have to see if that actually gets any headway. Depending on who you talk to, sometimes yes. Other people are like, nah, I don't think it's going to happen.
And you mentioned this earlier, Misty, too, but the nice thing about these updates is that there is that January on-demand webinar coming for any attendee. So say you attend, a tax season updates event in October, something huge happens in, November, December. Of course, NATP will, provide education on that. But then if you attended the tax season updates, you will receive that January on-demand webinar that will cover anything that has happened since. So anything else that I missed on the on-demand webinar in January, Sherry or Misty? I think that's a really important, fun
Historically, it's right around the
topic.
second week of January. It's not New Year's week, but it's the week after. I went online to look to see if we have it posted yet, and it's way too early. So clearly that answer is no. But just, just keep in the back of your mind that it's usually the second week of January, and it's given multiple times. So
Mhm.
Yeah. And so we talked a little bit about specific topics, but what are going to be some of the, the hot topics or ones that will be most valuable to tax pros who are attending?
Well, Misty, I don't know what you think, but I kind of think those K2s and K3s are going to be right up there on the top of the list. Everybody's going to be a little, oh my gosh, about them. Last year, we were supposed to start working with them, but we got a reprieve that says, no, don't worry about them for the 2021 tax returns. However, we did not get that reprieve for 2022 tax returns, and they are going to come out in full force. They were out a little bit last year, but this year, everybody gets them. All right. We are going to be addressing them in tax season update. My thoughts, that's going to be a big one. And probably virtual currency is still out there now with the 1099Bs having to be reported with that activity on. Misty, do you have any thoughts? What do you think? Disagree, agree?
Actually, completely agree. And one of the things too, we obviously with our content, we sit down with the instructors and talk about it. And I think with the K2, K3, there were some definite aha moments where this can actually benefit your client. They may end up with a higher foreign tax credit, and it's the what you need to know. So we actually have an example in a scenario of that, and it just kind of illustrates why you might need to know about this. And we'll also go through some tips on how to manage it, because when you're thinking about it, you have the foreign tax credit at the individual side. Just assuming you're dealing with an individual, you may not know what the partnership does, or if you're preparing the partnership return, you may not know what all the partners do. So how do you get that information? How do you go about this? Do you just file for everybody and say I'm done? Do you send out letters? We actually go into some of those options and kind of discuss, what you have available to you so you can feel comfortable going into the 2022 season. And in all honesty, the K2, K3, another area where you hear bubbles up of conversations of, oh, they're thinking of guidance for 2022. So we will be watching for that as well, just to see if anything's changed. Do we get another year reprieve? Probably not, but hopefully they offer additional guidance for preparers.
I have to
Excellent.
admit, the IRS can be very good with issuing guidance when we
Mhm.
need it. At least I've noticed that. Sorry, Sam, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're
It was just
completely
kind of a
fine.
random thought there I had to spout out.
That's great. So someone might be watching this thinking, oh, I already went to Taxposium, or I'm already signed up for a tax forums event. Is this event still valuable? Why or why not? Whoever wants to take that.
I can take that, and then sure you can
Okay.
add your 2 cents because you were at Taxposium, so you can add that.
Yeah.
So absolutely. So Taxposium was in July. And even thinking of how we're preparing for some upcoming events, there's updates that happen, additional guidance that comes out. So the tax season updates will have more of that with it. And we're also constantly working and making sure that we have the latest and greatest. We're in the process of actually doing some edits and making sure we have that information available. With tax forums, there's a focus on different pieces. So you're not necessarily going to see the same topics as you would be in our tax season updates. Some may overlap, but then what you also see too is, this is really focused for you for 2 days. We talk about those updates, give those practical points. Our instructor pool is great with that. So I think you definitely want to keep up to date, and that is where you're going to find this. I mean, not saying that we wouldn't update something for tax forums, because we do have our individual and business update, but that's just a small fraction where this is really expanding on some of those topics as well. We dive into some of those changes that I think people are going to take for granted. 2021 was kind of an oddball year where we saw one-off changes. Well, now you're going to have to know how to explain those changes to your client, because their refund may not be as large, or now why is this different, and just giving those tips on how you can handle that.
Those are all good. I like one other little tidbit with, well, two other little tidbits with going to tax season updates live. The rooms are smaller, they're cozier. It gives you more opportunity to have interaction with the instructor. Granted, at tax posiums, y'all could answer questions, same thing with the tax forums, but it's such a big room, it's kind of impersonal. I think, tax season updates just a little bit more cozy and approachable. That's one thing. It's just the whole environment thing. The other thing is, gang, my philosophy is you can never have too many CPE. This is it's 16 credits, right? I need to check that. This is 16 credits of CPE in 2 days with some really awesome instructing going on. And you get to interact. Why wouldn't you do it is more of the question, because face it, you can never have too many CPE. That's just my thoughts there, because I have to collect them like a crazy person too. So anyway.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and another thing too is these events are designed to be a little bit smaller. So we have many, many, many locations across the country. So someone could attend one. It's a little less travel potentially. And just a little, like you said, Sherry, a little more intimate, a little more of a workshop-y feel almost. Would you agree? Okay. Anything else that either of you, want to add, or any other points that you think that would be important for someone if they're on the fence, considering whether or not they should go to one of these events near them?
I think it's stressing the fact, and I know we talked about it once, but it is the fact that we have kind of that guarantee of, if something happens between the time you go and the beginning of the year, January-ish, we will have the Are You Ready? And with that, all companies have their processes, but with the Are You Ready, we shorten that. We try to make sure you get the latest and greatest out, and make sure it's accurate. And we're working with our instructors to get that done. So I can only stress the fact that we'll have, that kind of catch-all for you to, just in case if you're worried. And we're here to support you. So that is just one way. And like Sam said, I won't say it's complimentary, free on demand. If you want to go to the live, you can go to the live. That's fine. We offer it both ways, but it is just kind of that insurance you have to make sure that you have all the latest and greatest to get ready for the 2023 filing season.
Can I pipe in with my 2 cents worth on this too?
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned, a little cozier, a little more intimate, like Sam said. People, this is a great way to network in person. You can only do so much on the phone, so much on any of the live chats on our computers, but now you're back to people contact. How awesome is that? You get to talk to your fellow accountants or tax preparers. You get to talk to the instructor who is in the same boat you are. Most of our instructors have their own small tax offices and practices. You can ask them what they think, what they might do. This gives you a chance to really network and actually broaden your experiences a little bit. And I find that priceless category. So that's another reason why I love going to the live events and just seeing what can happen, especially tax season update. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Outstanding. And I see we have a couple people sharing their locations that they're attending in the comments. So we're excited to see you, Ron, in Atlantic City and Jenny in Las Vegas. So that's really all that I have for the two of you today, unless there's anything else you can think of that we should discuss. No? Okay.
Nope.
Well, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. I know this has been really valuable, a lot of great information about what to expect and, some details about, again, what to expect and what to prepare for and how we're going to be helping you all tax preparers for the 2023 season. So we can't wait to see you all there. Registration is open now. You can find a location near you. Go to natpupdates.com, natpupdates.com, and you can sign up in person, virtual. We have a couple simulcast events as well. Again, thanks, Sherry and Misty, for joining me today. And that is all that we have. So we will see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.